Welcome back. This morning, we are remembering the life of Arizona Senator John McCain, who lost his brave battle with brain cancer yesterday at the age of 81. Looking at the flag at the Capitol at half-staff this morning in honor of the senator, let's bring in California Congressman Darrell Issa. He's been on Capitol Hill roughly as long as Senator McCain was. And, Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for joining us.
Well, my length of service pales in comparison to the late senator, but I did have the honor of serving with him. And everyone has a story. Half of my stories are sitting in the barber's chair with Mario as he got what little hair he had cut once a week, every week. But also being in Pakistan at the base that Gary Powers took off in that famous U-2 incident as we were looking at the Pakistan-Afghan border. And this man, 20 years my senior, looking less exhausted than I was because he was used to taking that kind of treatment that it takes to just keep going.
He was just an incredible man. He really was, and such principles. But what he did for our country in terms of serving in the military and the patriot that he always was, and his father was, and his grandfather was, really a long history of patriotism and love for our great country.
Well, you're exactly right. And you know, patriotism sometimes runs in a family, and sometimes the second or third generation takes it for granted. But that certainly wasn't the case with John. And I think, you know, when he's remembered this coming week and the week after and the months after, it's going to be as a patriot with all his strengths and weaknesses, all his accomplishments. It was really just the fact that America came first with him at all times.
Absolutely. Congressman, let me switch gears and move forward and ask you about this ongoing saga of Bruce and Nellie Ohr. And, of course, Bruce Ohr was the #4 official at the Department of Justice. He will be in front of your committee in the next week, the Judiciary Committee, as he testifies. What are you looking to get from Bruce Ohr this upcoming week, sir?
Well, you know what the question always is, the infamous question, what did you know and when did you know it? It's clear that we know some things. He knew that Christopher Steele had been dismissed. He knew that the information in that fake dossier shouldn't go forward. He knew that, in fact, that he had it go forward. He, of course, also knew that his wife was actively involved in it. And as an attorney, there are things you disclose or recuse yourself. He did neither. So the questions will be about the things he clearly knew and did wrong. Remember that this isn't, you know, us saying there's a problem with Ohr. He's been demoted from being the highest-ranking non-political appointee, highest-ranking non-political, if you will, there. He's been demoted twice, and he's been demoted for cause. And one of the causes is the clear distortion of the FISA warrant that led to this entire investigation that now turns out to be false in so many ways.
That's right. And, you know, last week we had on your colleague, Congressman John Ratcliffe, who also sits on the House Judiciary Committee along with you, and he will lead the questioning of Bruce Ohr this upcoming week. He said last week on this program he may actually, after this testimony, need to call back former DOJ officials to testify before Congress. Listen to what he told us last week, sir. I want to get your reaction.
I think that after we work through current Department of Justice employees like Bruce Ohr, we'll get to those folks like Sally Yates and Jim Comey and Loretta Lynch that are no longer at the Department of Justice or the FBI, and we'll be requesting that they appear either voluntarily or involuntarily by subpoena, if necessary. Because there's been a lot of documents and testimony that has come out since the last time they testified under oath before Congress that calls into question some of that prior testimony.
So connect the dots for us, Congressman. Sally Yates was the person that Bruce Ohr reported to. Why would you need Lynch and Comey to come back and Sally Yates to come testify as well?
Well, partly because of the inconsistencies. Peter Strzok told us a great deal about Bruce Ohr's activities and what he did and how it was done. And obviously you also have McCabe, who was fired for cause. So as we get through these, if you will, statements that contradict each other, we have a reason to have people back to see if they want to correct the record. In other words, tell us the truth and the whole truth this time.
But where's the accountability for lying in the first place then? I mean, you know, we keep seeing these issues where, you know, people are getting immunity and then we know that they lied under oath. And now you've got to have this group back because the testimonies don't add up. Are the American people going to see accountability here and justice?
You know, Maria, that's one of the biggest challenges. The Constitution only gives one entity the ability to hold people accountable legally, and it happens to be the entity in which all this wrongdoing was going on. When you have the fourth highest person, the third highest person, and even Loretta Lynch, the highest person, all doing things that are just wrong, and they are the only entity that, in fact, can hold people accountable legally under our Constitution. So it begs the question of when will the Attorney General engage in an area in which he is not recused, order these documents to be delivered in a timely fashion, and begin ordering real investigations leading to criminal prosecutions for false statements and wrongdoing. This is one of the areas in which my former colleague, Senator Jeff Sessions, needs to step up to the plate and engage, because it's his responsibility, and quite frankly, he's the only one that can do it. His number two clearly won't.
But, Congressman, his number two is also a witness. Rod Rosenstein signed off on the FISA warrant for the last FISA warrant.